the mystery of why there's an alien gargoyle on a 12th century Scottish abbey may have been solved for years now. Any sci-fi film buffs who have visited Paisley Abbey in Scotland may have been startled by an unnervingly familiar sight. There is something uncanny about a stone gargoyle on the structure's lofty heights. One of the decorative carvings on the centuries-old building's exterior bears a striking resemblance to an all-too recognizable movie monster. The place of worship has become a place of pilgrimage and wonder for Ridley Scott fans. But now, the mystery of the alien gargoyle looks to have been resolved once and for all. Paisley in the Scottish county of Renfrewshire is 7 miles away from Glasgow and is known as Scotland's largest town. It has a population of more than 77,000 citizens, but nonetheless Paisley is still not officially classed as a city. Still, that did not stop the good people of the town from organizing a campaign to win the UK City of Culture title for 2021. While ultimately unsuccessful, the bid reflected the regeneration that Paisley is currently undergoing. Regardless of what happens in the future, Paisley looms large in the history of Scotland. During the Industrial Revolution, for instance, the town became a hotbed for weaving, and was the birthplace of the famed Paisley pattern design. Sadly, however, by the close of the 20th century, every single one of its mills had closed down. Going further back through history, the town was a significant religious center in the 12th century, thanks to the construction of Paisley Abbey, which still stands proudly today. The first Christian use of the site was as far back as the 7th century. Indeed, the Irish missionary St. Mirren apparently established a community there. A chapel within Paisley Abbey is dedicated to the saint, and the town's soccer club is named in his honor. The Abbey site eventually became a prominent pilgrimage spot, following the building of a shrine to St. Mirren sometime after his death. Then, in 1163, a group of monks arrived and built a priory, under a charter issued by the nobleman Walter FitzAlan, the first High Steward of Scotland. The current holder of that title is Charles, Prince of Wales. By 1245, the priory had risen in prominence to become an abbey. But 62 years later, the invading King Edward I of England ordered that the structure be burned down. Nevertheless, by the end of the 14th century, Paisley Abbey had been reconstructed. Alas, not well enough. Some 200 years later, the central tower of the abbey collapsed, destroying several parts of the building. For centuries, much of Paisley Abbey lay in ruins. Eventually, however, restoration work began on the tower, transepts and choir in the late 19th century. It has proved to be a continual process, with the latest round of refurbishment starting in 2002. However, despite the physical changes to the structure down the centuries, the abbey has still been witness to significant history. For example, William Wallace, the Scottish hero portrayed by Mel Gibson in the film Braveheart, is believed to have been educated in the abbey in the 13th century. And noblewoman Marjorie Bruce gave birth by caesarean section to the Scots King Robert II there in 1316. Unfortunately for her, this was centuries before anesthetics were used in surgery. Bruce is now buried at the abbey, along with Robert II's wife. But while plenty is known about Paisley Abbey's history, one mystery has eluded people for quite some time now, one concerning that strange, yet familiar, stone gargoyle. But it was as late as 2013 that a photograph of the out-of-place detail on the 600-year-old structure became hugely popular on social media. And there was a good reason for its worldwide renown. Indeed, as many internet users instantly picked up on, the gargoyle in the photo bears an uncanny resemblance to a very famous movie monster. But, despite the abbey being built centuries ago, this particular vile movie villain dates only from 1979. Please help our channel by subscribe for more.